Hello fans, collectors, investors, welcome back to Iconic Baseball. I'm Iconic Al, and today I am honored to present number 25 on my countdown. This is my list of the 100 greatest and most iconic ball players in baseball history. This is a list that I have formulated over many years. I've been collecting for about 30 years and have refined my collection down to predominantly the top 100 ball players of all time. This is a special episode for me because my own brother Brian will join us later in the video. I am talking about a pitcher who I believe is the greatest pitcher of the post-war era. I'll lay out the case later in the video, but we're talking about a man who compiled 106.6 WAR, won 355 games in an era where that didn't really happen. We're talking about a man who fielded his position better than arguably any pitcher in baseball history. I'm talking about, of course, the professor, the great Greg Maddux.
Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and cracker jack. I don't care if I never get back. Let me root for the home team. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game.
How long are they gonna worship this guy?
Hey! We got Cy Young winners over here! Come on, Alice! Step into it!
Feel bigger?
Yeah.
Hi, Tom.
Chicks dig the long ball.
Hey, have you guys seen Mark?
Greg Maddux was a beast, disguised as a professor. With his wireframe glasses, it's easy to take what he did for granted. But when you look at the players in his tier of greatness, Randy Johnson, Roger Clemens, Tom Seaver, Pedro Martinez, Nolan Ryan, all of these men combined for 0 Gold Glove awards. Greg Maddux won 18, the most Gold Glove awards ever by any player in Major League Baseball history. So to me, this is the primary differentiator that sets Greg Maddux apart, was his ability to field his position better than any other pitcher in the history of the game. And this isn't highlighted very often, especially with pitchers. You don't think of pitchers as part of the infield defense, but they are, especially in Greg Maddux's case, because he wasn't racking up huge strikeout totals. He relied on weak contact in order to get outs. So the fact that he was in a great fielding position every time he released the ball and then busted his hump to get to every baseball that he could was a huge factor in his greatness. I mean, how many times have you seen these clips of Greg Maddux fielding balls and making ridiculous throws in order to get outs? It just shows you how competitive he truly was. To me, this is something that is overlooked when talking about his greatness. He compiled 106.6 WAR, which puts him right up among the elite pitchers of all time, certainly the greatest of his era, and I would argue the greatest of the post-war era. His career record was 355 wins, 227 losses. He had a career 3.16 ERA, a 1.143 whip, 4 times won the ERA title. Despite not being a strikeout pitcher, per se, he still compiled 3,371 strikeouts. He won 4 Cy Young Awards, and 9 times landed in the top 5 of Cy Young voting. He was a true craftsman. and the greatest control pitcher of all time. He is the only MLB pitcher to win 15-plus games for 17 straight seasons. And he won more games in the 90s than any other pitcher, period. In the postseason, he was phenomenal. He was in 3 World Series. That's 38 innings pitched. In those 38 innings, he sported a 2.09 ERA and a 0.905 whip. That's 5 World Series starts. And he ended up getting his ring in 1995 with the Braves. Before we go through my items, I want to swing it over to a very special guest and the family expert on Greg Maddux. And being a teacher by trade, you might consider him a bit of a professor.
Hi, my name is Brian, and I am Iconic Al's brother. And so I collected in the 90s big time with Al and our father, and I stopped around 2000 and just got back into it during the pandemic. And so when he got to Greg Maddux and his countdown, I tapped him on the shoulder and wanted to become a part of it. And so I'm here to share a few of my favorite pieces of his. And so without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and turn the camera around and do that.
All right, so starting with the collection, we're gonna start with the older cards and move them to the newer years as we go through the 90s. But we'll first start with some lovely gems from the 80s, and really every card featured in these videos will be either the signees or the shinies. And so we'll start with the first, this beautiful shiny 87 Topps Traded Tiffany Greg Maddux rookie card. And this is in a beautiful PSA 9. And moving right along here, we have an 87 Donruss. This is a beautiful, iconic rated rookie with a nice, bold 10 auto right across the front. And then moving on, we have, this is a newer example of his autograph. This is an older example of one that you'll see that was probably done in the late 80s, early 90s. And this is on an 88 Fleer. And it's sitting here in a Beckett slab. And so as we move into the mid-90s here, we have a couple of really cool pieces from 95, of course, which is Maddux's ridiculous year. Here's 95 Donruss Elite. Look at that beautiful shiny deckled edge border. Love that one. This one's numbered out of 10,000. And also, I happen to really love the Dufex type cards, and here's my very, very favorite example of a Dufex card from 95 Pinnacle. This is Pinnacle White Hot. They had a Red Hot insert, which was very nice, and then the White Hot one was a sort of a parallel of that. And this one's sitting in a Beckett 9. Very, very tough to get the back edges on these to look pretty good without getting really, really chipped up. Moving on to 96, we had a couple of really cool things with 96 going on here. We had, of course, 96 had some beautiful finest refractors. Here's a silver refractor. And although Intimidator, maybe Frustrator would be a better descriptor for Greg Maddux, personally, but here's a silver refractor from 96 finest. And then a bit of history here. This particular one, this was a really important one. This was a gold refractor from that same set, 96 finest. And there was a lawsuit about this card because one guy, Topps released a statement saying that they were only going to be printing 150 of these, and a single guy managed to obtain over 220 of those cards, sometimes paying upwards of $1,000 each for them, and managed to sue Topps. And so look that one up if you want something interesting. Here's another one really cool, 96 Bowman's Best Atomic Refractor. Boy, and this is the first year they ever made atomic refractors. And unlike the previews that had the speckly refractor, this one's got those beautiful squares all over it here. And so this is just an absolute stunner. 96 Bowman's Best. And this one's in a PSA 9. And of course, the very next year, 97, we had the very first year of Bowman Chrome. And so here is a Bowman Chrome International Refractor. Beautiful card. Look at that patriotic, shiny flag in the background. Absolutely awesome. So Bowman's Best actually ended up changing their atomic refractor design a couple times. Here's a beautiful 97 Bowman's Best Atomic Refractor. This particular set has some issues with the hulking going on. And this card's actually only minorly to moderately hulked out, I'd say. Got a couple other beautiful 97 chrome refractor here for Topps Chrome. And then moving on to 98, we got a couple of my very favorite cards ever. Here's a 1998 Donruss Crusades. Boy, is that a beauty. Look at that shine. I love that. Those griffins in the background. Beautiful, beautiful card. This one, of course, is the Crusade Green, numbered out of 250. Don't really have the purple one or the red one, numbered out of 100 or 25 respectively. But boy, this card just makes you smile. Love it. 98. All right, and then I'm also working through a Topps Chrome refractor. I saw the 97 there. Here's a beautiful 98 Chrome refractor. And speaking of 98, there's another one I wanted to talk about here, which is actually the set called Dugout Access. And so Dugout Access was kind of a interesting thing, but this baseball, this autographed by Maddux, is actually, believe it or not, a pack-pulled certified autograph. And so this baseball is on, as you can see, a Coleman official National League baseball, but this was actually a redemption that was seated inside there. And you can tell that this is that piece because it actually has the Dugout Access brand stamped on the baseball itself. And so while there is a Fleer Skybox COA that accompanies this, it's kind of a unique piece because of that. All right, and we're nearing the end here. One last beautiful Topps Chrome refractor here from the 90s. We have our PSA 9. So shiny. Love it. And how about a couple more signees to finish us off here? We have a beautiful 99 Upper Deck SP Chirography. Greg Maddux on-card auto. Gotta love these on-card autograph of these Upper Deck sets. Man, they knew how to make them in the 90s. Boy, I miss Upper Deck. All right, and last, but certainly not least, this seems like a very fitting end for what we have here. This is a 2000 Diamond Kings on-card autograph, and this is technically, it was a recollection collection. This is mirrored after the 2000 Diamond King set. It was actually made in 2004, and this card, I believe, is actually rarer than a 1-of-1, because it turns out, how many 1-of-1s do they actually make every year? And I guarantee you, however many they make way fewer 2-of-2s than 1-of-1s. And so this is a pretty exclusive card with a beautiful on-card autograph of Greg Maddux. So thank you for coming along with me with the journey, and we'll send it back to Iconic Owl.
Thanks so much, Brian, for taking the time to make that video and for sharing some key pieces from the Maddux collection with the YouTube community. As you all can tell, Maddux was a key focus of Brian's collecting from way back and continues to be a primary focus. And so really appreciate you joining me on the video, Brian. All right, now to much less impressive cards. I guess the correct place to start would be with the Greg Maddux signed baseball, because this is one that my brother actually gifted me back in the day. I forget whether it was a birthday or a Christmas gift, but I had this on my want list. I still had yet to acquire Greg Maddux signed baseball back then, and he surprised me with it, and I still really appreciate it. A really nice period piece, a 96 World Series ball, which is actually a World Series that the Braves lost to the Yankees. They won their World Series in 95, but lost in 96 to a young Derek Jeter and the New York Yankees. But you could argue that Greg Maddux actually pitched better in the 96 World Series, and still a very cool piece from that period. I had this authenticated by Beckett a little more recently, but a really clean signature. But let's just address the elephant in the room. Greg Maddux's autograph is not pretty. It's right up there with Clayton Kershaw, I think, as ugliest autos in the hobby. But hey, that's what it is. Anybody that knows Maddux signatures knows that that's kind of what you're gonna get. Regardless, still very happy to have it. All right, moving on. Let's go to the rookie card here. And this is my favorite of his rookie cards. I just prefer the portrait shots in general. I like the color on this one. And it's very hard to find these in gem grade. And this is an old SGC 10. And I just always liked it aesthetically better than his Donruss rated rookie or Topps, where he has the, you know, the mustache, and then they're more action shots. I just always like this one better. So this is the Maddux rookie card that I tend to, you know, hold on to and gravitate towards. Next, we'll go to the Shine, this beautiful 94 Finest Maddux refractor. And this is the second year of Finest, the second year of refractors. And how can you not love this card? Just a beautiful piece. It's PSA 9, pretty high grade example. Very low population on these early refractors. This is a pop 30 with only one graded higher. So I just love the low populations. Once you get into any kind of a high grade on these kind of cards, there just aren't a lot of them out there. And I like that, I really like that. It kind of hits all the boxes for me because I think they will increase in value over time. And they really hit that nostalgic box for me. I really remember these growing up. And these refractors were pretty much all dream cards for us as kids. And now to be able to go back and pick some of these up for pretty reasonable prices, actually. I've really been going back through and finding a lot of mid-90s refractors of key players like Maddux for pretty reasonable prices, especially when you consider the populations on these. Especially when you compare to some other high-profile 90s inserts like Credentials and PMGs and Circa Raves, things like that, and then you compare it to the prices of refractors, I think that's they're pretty undervalued at this point. So really beautiful cards, nostalgic to me, and I think pretty good value as well. Okay, and now to the autos. This is one of my favorite on-card autos of all time. A very important set, 93 SP, the same set of the iconic foil Derek Jeter rookie card. This is an SP buyback from that year, featuring a beautiful, bold Greg Maddux auto and a great action shot from his early days with the Braves, and a very low number, numbered out of 22. So just a beautiful card, one that I probably will have graded at some point. I'm in no hurry. I'm kind of waiting for prices for grading to fall before I submit a lot of my cards. And last but not least, we have the 99 SP Signature. A beautiful late 90s on-card set featuring a bold auto. Really nice image of Maddux in action. And as my brother, I'll echo what my brother said, I really miss Upper Deck. I think they were great for the hobby. I loved a lot of the Upper Deck, including the SP designs. And yeah, I hope Upper Deck can make licensed baseball cards again someday, because I really liked Upper Deck stuff back in the 90s especially. All right, well that is what I have for Mr. Maddux. I thank all of you for joining in the countdown, and I look forward to unveiling number 24 next week. Until then, keep collecting and stay iconic.